What would you do if the man you thought was stalking you was actually the only thing keeping you alive? Sophie Chen had exactly 3 minutes to live, and she had no idea. I watched from across the rain-soaked London street as she fumbled with her keys outside her flat in Shoreditch. My hand instinctively moved to the Glock hidden beneath my coat. The 2 men in the black Mercedes 3 cars down weren't there for the view. She dropped her keys, bent down to pick them up. My jaw clenched. Get inside, Sophie. For God's sake, get inside. Boss, they're moving. Marco's voice crackled through my earpiece. I'd been watching Sophie Chen for 3 months. Not because I wanted to, though those dark eyes and the way she tucked her hair behind her ear when she was nervous had started invading my thoughts at inappropriate times. No, I watched her because her bastard of a father, David Chen, had stolen £2 million from the Volkov Bratva before getting himself killed. And now the Russians wanted their money back, in blood if necessary. The car doors opened. 2 men stepped out, their intentions clear in every purposeful stride. Sophie finally got her door open. But she wasn't going inside. She was pulling out her phone, distracted. I was already moving. Stay with the car, I ordered Marco, my Italian leather shoes splashing through puddles as I crossed the street. The first man reached for her just as I arrived. Sophie Chen, he said in a thick Russian accent. She looked up, confused. I'm sorry, do I? I grabbed his wrist before he could touch her, twisting it at an angle that made him gasp. Wrong address, mate. His partner reached inside his jacket. Big mistake. I had my gun pressed against his ribs before he could blink. I wouldn't. Sophie's eyes went wide with terror, her phone clattering to the wet pavement. She looked at me like I was a monster. She wasn't entirely wrong. Get inside. Now, I told her, my voice harder than I intended. Who are you? What's happening? Her voice shook, but she didn't move. Stubborn woman. Inside. I barked, just as the first man pulled a knife. The next 15 seconds were brutal and efficient. A dislocated shoulder. A broken nose. 2 unconscious Russians on the pavement. And 1 terrified woman staring at me with a mixture of fear and something else I couldn't quite place. You're coming with me, I said, holstering my weapon. Like hell I am. She turned to run. I caught her wrist, gently, despite everything. Sophie, listen to me. Those men were here to kill you. There are more coming. I can explain everything, but not here. Trust me. Trust you? You just... Her breath came in short gasps. You're insane. I'm calling the police. Your father owed money to very dangerous people. People who don't forgive debts. I'm the only reason you've been alive these past 3 months. Her face went pale. My father? He died in a car accident. No, sweetheart. He didn't. 20 minutes later, Sophie sat across from me in the back of my Range Rover, her arms crossed, mascara smudged from the rain. She looked like a drowned cat, a beautiful, furious drowned cat who wanted nothing more than to scratch my eyes out. Start talking, she demanded. I admired her spirit. Most people were still crying at this point. My name is Dante Moretti. I run certain operations in London. Your father came to me 6 months ago, desperate. He'd borrowed money from the Volkov organization to cover gambling debts. When he couldn't pay, he did something incredibly stupid. He stole from them. My father wasn't a criminal. Your father was in over his head. I kept my voice gentle. He came to me, begged for protection. I turned him away. I don't get involved in Volkov business. 2 weeks later, his brakes failed on the M25. Her hands trembled. You're lying. I wish I was. I pulled out my phone, showing her photographs. Evidence. Her father meeting with known Volkov enforcers. Bank transfers. Everything. She stared at the screen, her world crumbling. A single tear rolled down her cheek, and something in my chest tightened uncomfortably. Why didn't they kill me too? She whispered. You didn't know where the money was. They thought they could use you to find it. But then, I hesitated. Then I made it my business to keep you alive. Why? Why would you care? Good question. One I'd been asking myself for 3 months. Because your father's death is on me, I said finally. I could have helped him. I didn't. So I'm helping you. By stalking me? By keeping you breathing. I leaned forward. That barista who always gets your order wrong at the coffee shop on Brick Lane? One of my men. The new neighbor who moved in above you? Mine. The guy who held the door for you at the tube station yesterday? Also mine. You've never been alone, Sophie. Not for a single moment. Her eyes widened with realization and horror. The gym instructor. Marco. Good man. Terrible at spin classes, but excellent at his actual job. Oh my God. She buried her face in her hands. This is insane. This can't be real. It's very real. And it's about to get worse. The Volkovs are escalating. Tonight was a warning shot. Next time, they won't be so polite. So what am I supposed to do? Hide forever? No. I made a decision that would either save her life or damn us both. You're going to stay with me. My penthouse is secure. And we're going to find that money and end this. She looked up at me, those dark eyes searching my face. And if I refuse? Then you'll be dead by morning. Sophie's stubbornness lasted exactly 12 hours. She'd agreed to stay at my penthouse in Canary Wharf, temporarily, she insisted, but spent the first night trying to find ways to escape. I had security cameras, so I watched her test the windows, 40 stories up, good luck, try to hack my alarm system, cute attempt, and even consider making a rope from bedsheets. We weren't in a cartoon, for Christ's sake. By morning, she'd exhausted herself and fell asleep on the sofa, still fully dressed, her phone clutched in her hand like a lifeline. I stood in the doorway of my living room, coffee in hand, just watching her. In sleep, the fear was gone. She looked peaceful. Young. Innocent. Everything my world wasn't. My phone buzzed. Viktor Volkov wanted a meeting. Never a good sign. Staring is creepy, you know, Sophie's voice made me start. Her eyes were open, watching me watch her. I'm ensuring my asset is secure, I said coolly, though I felt caught. Your asset? She sat up, running her hands through her tangled hair. Is that what I am? Would you prefer liability? She threw a cushion at me. I caught it, surprised. Then she started laughing, slightly hysterical, slightly defeated. This is my life now. Throwing pillows at a mafia boss in a penthouse prison. It's not a prison. Then can I leave? No. Prison. Despite everything, I found myself almost smiling. There's breakfast in the kitchen. We have work to do. Over eggs and coffee, I spread out everything I knew about her father's dealings. Bank statements, phone records, coded messages. Sophie was an accountant, a brilliant one, apparently, and within an hour, she'd spotted patterns I'd missed. He was moving money through shell companies, she said, her finger tracing transactions. See? Here and here. Small amounts, different accounts. He was trying to hide it. The question is, where did it end up? She bit her lip, thinking. It was distracting. Can I access his computer? His files from work? It's at your flat. Already searched it. Nothing. Not his work computer. His personal one. He had a laptop he kept at. She stopped, her eyes meeting mine. At his girlfriend's flat. This was news. Girlfriend? Pamela. They'd been together for 2 years. I didn't approve, she was young, flighty, but Dad was happy. Sophie's voice cracked. I thought he was happy. Pamela's flat in Notting Hill was a crime scene of heartbreak. Photos of David Chen covered every surface. The woman who answered the door was rail-thin, her eyes hollow with grief. Sophie, she whispered, then saw me. Who's he? A friend, Sophie said quickly. Pamela, I need Dad's laptop. Please. What followed was 30 minutes of crying, reminiscing, and me standing awkwardly by the door like the dangerous criminal I was. But we got the laptop. In the car, Sophie was quiet, clutching the computer like it held all the answers. Maybe it did. You okay? I asked. She really loved him. I could see it. Sophie looked at me. Did you ever love someone like that? Completely? Even their flaws? The question caught me off guard. Love wasn't something men in my position could afford. Once. A long time ago. What happened? She's dead. The words came out harsher than intended. Loving me is a death sentence, Sophie. Remember that. Something flickered in her eyes, hurt, maybe. Or understanding. Back at the penthouse, Sophie cracked her father's password in minutes. What we found made my blood run cold. The money wasn't just stolen. It was evidence. David Chen had been documenting the Volkov organization's money laundering operation. Names, dates, transactions. Everything. He'd planned to go to the authorities. He was trying to do the right thing, Sophie breathed. He wasn't just a thief. He was a dead man the moment he downloaded these files. I was already calculating. This changes everything. How? Because this isn't just about money anymore. This is about survival. If Volkov finds out this evidence exists, he'll burn London to the ground to destroy it. Sophie's face hardened with determination. Then we use it. We end this. We. You said we're going to find the money and end this. You involved me. So yes, we. She stood, squaring her shoulders. I'm not some fragile princess who needs saving. I'm David Chen's daughter, and I'm going to finish what he started. God help me, I was starting to fall for this woman. The plan was suicidal. Perfect. We'd trade the evidence to Volkov for Sophie's freedom. Simple, clean, final. Except nothing with the Bratva was ever simple. You're not seriously considering this, Marco said when I briefed my crew. It's a trap. Obviously it's a trap, I replied. That's why we're setting our own. Sophie sat in my office, learning to shoot. I'd insisted. If things went sideways, and they would, she needed to protect herself. Breathe. Squeeze, don't pull, I instructed, standing behind her, my hands adjusting her grip on the Glock. She fired. Hit the target dead center. Natural. Good girl. She turned, and suddenly we were inches apart. I could see gold flecks in her dark eyes. Count her eyelashes. Smell her shampoo, something floral and innocent and completely wrong for this moment. Dante, she whispered. Don't. I stepped back. Don't do this. Do what? Look at me like that. Like I'm something other than what I am. And what are you? A killer. A criminal. Someone who's going to get you out of this mess and then disappear from your life. She moved closer. Brave, foolish woman. What if I don't want you to disappear? Sophie. She kissed me. Soft, tentative, completely devastating. For a moment, I forgot everything. The danger, the plan, the 100 reasons this was wrong. I just kissed her back, pulling her close, feeling her melt against me. Then reality crashed back. I pulled away, my chest tight. This can't happen. Why not? Because I can't protect you if I'm distracted. Because you deserve better. Because I forced myself to be cruel. Because once this is over, you're going back to your normal life, and I'm going back to mine. That's how this ends. The hurt in her eyes killed me. But it was necessary. Love was a luxury neither of us could afford. Fine, she said coldly. Let's just finish this then. The next 2 days were professional. Distant. It was torture. The meeting was set for midnight at an abandoned warehouse in Rotherhithe. Cliché, but effective. Sophie wore a wire. My men surrounded the building. Every angle covered. Every contingency planned for. Except the one that mattered. Victor Volkov arrived with 20 men. I had 12. The math wasn't good. Dante Moretti, Victor smiled, all teeth and threat. You've been busy playing hero. Victor. You're looking well. How's the family? Thriving, now that we've found something precious. He snapped his fingers. They dragged out Pamela. Beaten, terrified, but alive. Sophie gasped. No. Your father's whore was very helpful, Victor continued. She told us everything about the laptop. About you, Miss Chen. About your touching alliance with Mr. Moretti. His eyes gleamed. Did you really think I wouldn't have insurance? My hand moved to my weapon. 20 guns aimed at me instantly. The evidence, Victor demanded. Or she dies. Then your little accountant. Then you. I'm patient tonight. Sophie stepped forward. Let Pamela go. I'll give you everything. Sophie, no, I growled. She ignored me, holding up a flash drive. It's all here. Every file, every transaction. Let her go, and it's yours. Victor considered. Nodded. His men released Pamela, who ran to Sophie, sobbing. The drive, Victor said. Sophie threw it to him. He caught it, smiled. Excellent. Now kill them all. Time slowed. I saw the guns raise. Saw Sophie's eyes meet mine, wide with betrayal, not at Victor, but at me, for bringing her here. Then the warehouse exploded into chaos. My men burst through every entrance. Marco appeared from nowhere, taking down 3 Volkov soldiers. Gunfire erupted. Smoke. Screaming. I grabbed Sophie and Pamela, pulling them behind a concrete pillar. Stay down. You planned this. Sophie shouted over the noise. The drive was fake. The real evidence is safe. I returned fire, dropping 2 men. We're leaving. Now. But Victor was faster. He had Sophie by the throat before I could react, his gun pressed to her temple. Everything stopped. My world narrowed to that single point of contact between his gun and her head. Drop your weapon, Moretti, or I paint the walls with her brain. I'd killed over 40 men in my life. I'd orchestrated wars. Destroyed empires. But in that moment, staring at Sophie's terrified face, I was helpless. Please, I said. The word felt foreign. Take me instead. Victor laughed. How romantic. But no. You'll watch her die. You'll live with that. Then I'll... Sophie drove her elbow into his ribs, the move I taught her, and dropped. I fired twice. Victor fell. For a heartbeat, silence. Then Sophie was in my arms, shaking, alive. I've got you, I whispered. I've got you. The cleanup took 3 days. Victor was dead. His organization scattered. The evidence went to MI5, who were very interested in dismantling what remained of the Volkov operation. Sophie gave her statement. So did I. My lawyers earned their obscene fees. By some miracle, we walked away. But walking away wasn't the same as being free. I stood in my penthouse, watching Sophie pack her bag. She was going back to her flat. Back to her life. Like I'd promised. That's everything, she said quietly. I've arranged security. 2 men, rotating shifts. You won't see them, but they'll be there. For how long? Forever, if necessary. She nodded, not looking at me. Thank you. For everything. Sophie. Don't. She finally met my eyes, and I saw tears. Don't make this harder. You were right. You're a criminal, I'm an accountant. We're from different worlds. This was always temporary. It doesn't have to be. Yes, it does. She picked up her bag. Goodbye, Dante. She was at the door when I spoke. I lied. She stopped. In the car, when you asked if I'd ever loved someone completely. I said once, long ago. I crossed to her, my heart hammering. I lied. It's now. It's you. A tear slid down her cheek. Don't do this. You asked what you were to me. An asset? A liability? I cupped her face gently. You're everything. You're the first person who's made me want to be better. To be more than what I am. You're a mafia boss, Dante. You can't just... Watch me. I kissed her forehead. I'm out. I've been setting it up for weeks. Legitimate businesses, clean money, a new life. I'm done with the violence, the blood. I'm done with all of it. For me. For us. If you'll have me. Sophie searched my face, looking for the lie, the angle, the trap. She found none. You really mean it? I've never meant anything more in my life. She dropped her bag. Kissed me hard, desperately, like she was afraid I'd disappear. I love you, she breathed against my lips. God help me, I love you. Then stay. Build a life with me. A real one. Yes, she whispered. Yes. 6 months later. The wedding was small. Just close friends, the few I had who weren't criminals, and Sophie's family. Marco was my best man, looking uncomfortable in a tux. Sophie wore white lace and looked like a dream. When she walked down the aisle of the small chapel in the Cotswolds, I forgot how to breathe. Dante Moretti, she said during her vows, her voice steady and sure, you came into my life like a storm. Dangerous, unpredictable, terrifying. But you also saved me. Protected me. Loved me. You showed me that people can change, that the past doesn't define the future. I promised to stand beside you, to trust you, to build a life with you. Always. I wasn't an emotional man. But standing there, holding her hands, I felt something break open in my chest. Sophie Chen, I said, you saw past the monster to the man underneath. You made me want to be worthy of you. I promised to protect you, to cherish you, to spend every day earning your love. You're my redemption. My future. My everything. When we kissed, the small crowd applauded. Marco actually shed a tear, he'd deny it later. The reception was in a garden, fairy lights strung between trees. Sophie danced with everyone, her laugh filling the summer air. I watched from the sidelines, content. Pamela approached, glass of champagne in hand. She'd recovered well, started therapy, even begun dating Marco, a development that amused me endlessly. You did good, Moetti, she said. I got lucky. No. You made a choice. That's different. She clinked her glass against mine. Take care of her. With my life. Later, as the sun set and the party wound down, Sophie and I stood together, her head on my shoulder. What are you thinking? She asked. That I never thought I'd have this. Peace. Happiness. You. Do you miss it? Your old life. Not for a second. I turned her to face me. You're my life now, Mrs. Moetti. She smiled, that beautiful smile that had undone me from the start. I like the sound of that. So do I. We kissed as the stars came out, two people from impossible worlds who'd found their way to each other. Who'd survived danger, betrayal, and their own fears to stand here, together. I'd been her bodyguard in secret. Now I'd be her husband in the light. And that was the greatest protection I could ever offer, not just safety, but love. Forever. She didn't know I was her bodyguard. But now she knows I'm her husband. And that's all that matters.